Hey everybody, welcome to the Cardone Solutions Podcast. I am your host of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. My name is David Bradley, Senior Sales and Marketing Manager with Grant Cardone. Now, what do we do on the Cardone Solutions Podcast? We take articles Grant's written, blog posts he's put out, emails he's sent, tweets, Instagram posts, and we make sure that we're pulling all of the value out of it for you so that you can take this data and plug it into your sales, your business, and your life. And in this episode, we are going to be taking a look at Grant's latest strategy of the week. And we're going to ask some questions, some hard questions about how you perceive yourself and how distorted your life is or is not. Also, if the Cardone Solutions Podcast is providing you value, if you like having me riding shotgun with you in the car, if you're getting something out of it, if it is helping in any way, shape, or form, please make sure that you followed or that you've subscribed on whatever medium you're enjoying podcasts on. And then also, if you hear something today or you've heard something in the past that you're like, hey, so-and-so could benefit from that, please make sure that you're sharing this out into the community, tweet it out, throw it up on the Facebook, post it on LinkedIn, email it out to a friend of yours, or text it to whoever can get some benefit from it as well. Now, who sponsors the Cardone Solutions Podcast? Got a special offer for you today. Are you listening, are you tired of missing deals? Would it be helpful if you had some tips and recommendations that you could use to gain a 73% competitive advantage in your market? This is a salesperson, this is a manager, this is a business owner. Would you like to have some money and time-saving ideas that could increase your conversions by 320%? How about some expert advice to avoid the mistakes that Grant Cardone and our team made when we were getting started in this whole thing? Okay, we have an ebook for you that is 100% free, costs you nothing, called the 10 Biggest Follow-Up Mistakes. And you can get this for free over at cardonesolutions.com/follow-up_ebook. So that's cardonesolutions.com/follow-up, all one word, underscore, and then ebook. You can get that ebook for free, 10 Biggest Follow-Up Mistakes. Now, let's get into today's topic, which is dissecting Grant Cardone's strategy of the week and literally looking at how you perceive yourself and is the way you see yourself and your life distorted. Okay, so I don't know, call me lazy, but like, how cool is it when the action ideas that I would normally put to go with Grant's strategies? If you've been listening, you know, I always try and throw in some action ideas so that you can take it and really incorporate it into your world, right? So, but how cool is it that when the action ideas, they like show up on their own and I don't have to come up with it? It's kind of nice, right? It's the universe throwing me a bone, basically. So in Grant Cardone's strategy of the week, Grant literally puts the pressure on you and me to start examining our true perceptions of ourselves, okay? So when I go through these strategies, it's not just about you. Like, I get some benefit from it too. That's why I think this whole podcast is a win-win. Helps reinforce me and my beliefs and what I know is right and true and adds wood to my fire. But and hopefully it's doing the same for you, right? So how do we perceive ourselves when we look in the mirror? Like, who is looking back at you? What do you see? When was the last time you took a really long, hard look at that person? And David Goggins calls this the accountability mirror. He references it on a podcast he did with Grant. He also references in his book, Can't Hurt Me. Who's looking back at you? I mean, who is looking back at you? Do you like the person that you see? Maybe it's time for some tough love, right? Just a little bit. So the strategy asks you the question, is your life distorted right now? In fact, Grant opens it up with that very question. And then here comes the real challenge, which is the person looking back at you and your life distorted? Like when you look in a carnival mirror, right? When you go through the house of mirrors and there's the ones that are all wigged out and it looks kind of like, what was that guy's name? Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah, right? Okay. Because if you're not loving on the reflection that's coming back at you and your life and where you're at, well, there's good news, actually. And that's it. You're not alone in that. And there is a way to literally reshape that reflection. Grant's done it. I've done it. Okay? And what that means is that you can too. So here's a quote from the strategy. Grant says this: I know my life used to be distorted. Not enough money, always scared and worried, lonely, addictions. Okay? None of these things were the real me. My life was distorted because of the decisions I made, the actions I took, and the lack of fruit that my life produced. So I'm just going to reread the last part because I think that's the most important piece. None of these things were the real me. My life was distorted because of the decisions I made, the actions I took, and the lack of fruit that my life produced. And the key thing for Grant will be the key thing for you too. You have to confront where you're at. I have to confront where I'm at. Where are you headed on the current course? And then you got to make the necessary changes. And to do that right, it's going to require that you and we get brutally honest with ourselves and look that person in the mirror straight in the eye. So to give you a head start on that, and maybe some wood for your accountability mirror fire, Grant lays out in the strategy 10 clues to spot if your life is distorted. So now I want to give you some fair warning on this part because, well, here's the fair warning, okay? Then I'll get into the why in a second. But the fair warning is this. When I'm going over these 10 clues and you're going over with them, just recognizing them is not going to be enough. If your mirror is distorted and you're looking at it and you recognize the person in the mirror, just recognizing that person will not be enough. The recognition is nothing more than a good start. Okay? There are plenty of people who recognize they need help with a specific problem and then do nothing about it. Who did you think of when I said that? I know you thought of somebody. There's plenty of people who recognize they need help or have a problem and then do nothing about it. Who just popped into your head other than you? So just because you recognize that you have like all this room for improvement doesn't mean you're improved. When you buy a book at a bookstore, if there's any left, it doesn't mean you read it. It means you bought it. So as I'm going through the 10, as we're going through the 10 together, the 10 clues, if you identify like a real opportunity to alter your perception of yourself for the better, I want to challenge you right now, right here, for you to set up some new policies and plans and actions for living your life moving forward. Don't just recognize it, do something about it, okay? So, here's the 10 clues. Are you ready? Number 1, do you challenge authority but won't challenge yourself? 2, are you wasting weekdays by getting wasted on the weekend? 3, do you act like a know-it-all when you know nothing at all? 4, you talk way more than you listen. 5, you criticize more than you create. Twitter. 6, do you never have time for anything productive, but you make time for everything that isn't? 7, are you blaming your situation on everything except yourself? 8, You don't trust anyone because you can't trust yourself. 9, are you hating on successful people and refuse to act like a success? And then 10, do you think you're too young, too old, too broke, the wrong color, wrong gender, whatever? Okay? Did you see yourself in any of those? And if so, what are you? What are we? What are we going to do about it? How are you going to tackle the barriers that are holding you back from the real you? So let's flip-flop these into a more, I don't know what they're, let's flip-flop them. 1, you, me, we need to challenge ourselves. 2, start using our weekends as an opportunity to pull ahead. 3, make self-improvement and gaining knowledge a daily activity. 4, it's time to start listening more and talking less. 5, create more than you criticize. 6, commit and schedule time for productive activities and remove time-wasted things. 7, stop the blame game. Take full responsibility for yourself and your situation. 8, trust yourself more. 9, instead of hating on successful people, learn from them and start acting as if like a success. 10, you're never too young, too old, too broke, wrong color, wrong gender, whatever. Okay? So, how do you perceive yourself now? I mean now that we've gone through the 10 and we've flipped them. If you need to get a handle on that, make sure that you take the time and you make the time needed to literally work out these kinks, because that's really all they are. Just kinks. And kinks are what stops the flow. But the best part about kinks that stop the flow, they can get fixed. They can get unkinked. Kinks can get straightened out. Okay? Now it's going to take time. It's going to take energy. It's going to take effort. And most likely it's going to take some money. Conveniently, there are 2 really great ways for you to start tackling these 10 clues so you can start changing your life to be the person you know you can and should and be and really are. So if you haven't yet gotten or watched the recording of the latest 10X Growth Conference, that will light a fire for you. And then Cardone University is going to be the wood that you keep adding to keep that fire going. Okay? Now, if you don't have your recording, would love to get it for you. All you got to do is give me a call. I'm at 310-777-0352. And as an added bonus, I will hook you up with 7 days free access to Cardone University so you can actually start the fire and keep it going, and keep it hot. Okay? You up for that? So this has been another exciting episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. So remember a couple different things. Number 1, make sure you've subscribed. Make sure that you're sharing. If you need that 10 biggest follow-up mistakes, that's cardonesolutions.com/follow-up_ebook. Okay? You need your recording of the 10X Growth Conference for 2020. Call me up. I'm at 310-777-0352. When you place that order with me, I will get you 7 days free access to Cardone University. Remember, we're going to light a fire and we're going to keep it going and we're going to keep it burning nice and hot. Remember the words of Grant Cardone. Be great, because nothing else pays.